All right. Good evening, everyone. Today we are having a guest episode. We invited my good friend from my master's at Rotterdam School of Management. Jana is with us tonight. Funny thing is um, that today, when I was thinking about our episode, I realized that me and Jana, we have so many things in common. Like we did the same masters, of course, and during this masters we have done multiple projects together. Another thing is that we are crazy about CrossFit. and
Yes.
and the third thing, which is common for all three of us, we all worked for OEM in automotive. Because I didn't tell you this, Zane, but if I remember well, Jana, you used to work for BMW, right?
No.
No.
Oh, that was a good start.
Sorry. I so maybe I messed up something. Okay, sorry.
But one thing we do have common is that we're all very into fitness.
Yeah, fitness.
Yeah,
being
I think
being
that-
fit on our bodies and minds. So yeah.
Yes. So
I actually remember when we went to the CrossFit studio back in Rotterdam. We did like the
Oh,
workout.
yes. Yeah, it was our first. It was my first proper CrossFit training, and I'm doing CrossFit now like 5 times a week, and you are doing it every day, right? With your career path now. So we are here tonight to listen to your story, and we want to learn all about it. So I guess we will proceed with our questions, and if you have something to add before we start, then do not hesitate to do so.
cool. So I think the first thing is that for people who are watching or people who are listening, you want to just a bit of tell them a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you go from doing your master's in strategic entrepreneurship to now becoming a CrossFit trainer? How did that transition happen?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. And it actually there was not that specific moment where I decided. It was like a decision that came into my life really smoothly. Like, I was always that kind of person that started a sport, and after a while I got so bored of it. So I started badminton, swimming, whatever, you name it. And I did it probably. And on my exchange during my bachelor's, I got to learn about CrossFit, and I started doing CrossFit there. I did it actually 4 times a week, most of the time. I mean, I traveled during the weekend and sometimes also Fridays. And then every day I was back at home, I went to do a CrossFit class. And when I came back, I decided to do my master's. So I went to Rotterdam to study strategic entrepreneurship. And at that time, I also said, well, I want to continue with that because it's so interesting. I love this sport. I was kind of a new person because I was totally into sports. And then I did my master's, and while I did it, I actually had a plan to start my own business, and I already had an idea what I wanted to do, and that's why I studied strategic entrepreneurship. But at some point, I started thinking about what CrossFit did with me and what CrossFit does to other people and how people change while doing CrossFit. And I thought about how should I pursue, and like what should my career path be like? Like, should I actually go and start in a corporate job, or should I really pursue my idea about starting a startup? And I think my boyfriend actually came up with the idea of like, what would you think about being like a CrossFit coach? And at the beginning, it was just an idea. Like, I thought like I could never be a CrossFit coach. Like, how should I? Like, I'm not that kind of person. I'm also not that strong and that good in that sport. And I don't know, I was really not sure about it. But after rethinking about it, at some point I thought like, well, it could be really interesting. I mean, it gave me a lot and I want to give people a lot. And it would be way better than a corporate job where you sit all day long and you just work out every other day, and you let other people work out, and you have a way more social job. So yeah, there was that point when I decided that after my master's, I'm not going into a corporate job. I'm not starting my own business. I started my own business kind of, because I became a freelancer. Like, if you are a trainer, you are normally not employed somewhere. You work at different spots. So that's how it is right now. I'm working for a CrossFit gym, but I'm also working for a functional fitness gym or functional fitness provider, because they also have outdoor sport camps where people train outdoors, and I bring some different equipment like kettlebells or dumbbells or some jumping ropes, whatever. So I have some spots where I get some income from, and I really like it. I think it was the right decision to do.
Can I ask something strictly CrossFit related? What's your favorite CrossFit movement? Like, what do you enjoy the most in CrossFit? Like one particular exercise movement?
Well, I would say deadlift, which is not only CrossFit, but I really love it. At the beginning, I didn't, but now I love it. Or handstand push-ups, even though I can't do them without a wall. Like, I still need the wall. But
oh wow,
yeah, I mean, most people do use the wall.
Yeah,
remember,
like for even for competition, when you do keeping handstand push-ups, you still need to use the wall for it, right?
Yeah.
So,
I remember last year they had one event where people did it without a wall, but yeah, it's really not usual. So that's also why my favorite workout is Zayne, which is 21, 15, 9 handstand push-up and deadlift. So
what? So you do 21 handstand push-ups, and then you go into deadlift, and then you do the 15 9.
Yeah,
exactly,
and you do like also 21 deadlift, and then it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of work and strength, so that's for sure.
Yeah, when I'm in it,
Yeah.
when I'm in it, I'm not having fun. I remember when I was in the gym, and then I have this trainer. She's super into CrossFit as well, and then I love training with her. And then we'll do like all the movement, like, you know, like dumbbell snatch, and then like you go to like devil's like squat or something. You know, when you hear that a workout has got the word devil in it, I was just like, oh my god, this is not going to be fun. Every time I finish, I should say, every time I'm in it, I feel like I'm going to die. I genuinely feel like I'm going to die.
That's CrossFit. That's the definition of CrossFit.
Exactly, but when you finish, you're just like, oh, this feels really good. Yeah, I love it. It's very fun.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
the good part.
Going back to what you said about the making a decision. So there was no like clear, let's say, tipping point of your decision. It was more like a maturing process, like putting a good piece of steak or cheese into like a fridge, and it was maturing until it reached its taste, let's say.
Yeah, that's actually how it was. I mean, I do remember the first talk with my boyfriend. We were on holidays shortly before Corona happened. And we started thinking like what I want to do. We also talked about my business idea and stuff. And then, for some reason, we came up with that random idea, which was really like, I really thought never. Like, I mean, it would be so cool to be a coach, but I could never be a coach. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not, I don't know, maybe I thought I'm not cool enough or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah.
But how do you overcome that then? Because like you said earlier on, like oh, when this idea pop up, you're like, oh, but I'm not the strongest, I'm not like a coach type of person. These thoughts and ideas are, like past identities, etc., that sit in your head. It doesn't just disappear one day. So is there anything that you learn or realize that makes you think, okay, I will give this a go, I'll give this a shot?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the definition of a coach, for example, like for me, I always, like when I thought about it in the very first moment, I thought like it should be, for example, CrossFit coach should be like strong and like look, I don't know,
Fit.
yeah, strong and should do the movements proper and stuff like that. And the second part is definitely right. You should show the movements, most of them. But even for this, like I know coaches that are not able to do a bar muscle up. I mean, I'm including myself because I can't. I'm training for it. I want to get there at some point, but I'm not there yet. I mean, for me, a coach is someone who can see, like, spot mistakes and know how to correct them. Like he knows how to correct them. I mean, my kind of mentor coach, he is not working out a lot. He's like not the strongest, not the fittest. Like there are way more people in our gym that are stronger than him. But he knows how to, on the one hand, motivate people, on the other hand, really see what good technique is, and also spot flaws and like even really tiny flaws. Like he knows so much about the body itself, like how it works, how you should change things, what clues he can give to make people do things better. And yeah, that's actually
Wow.
more what a coach, like what coaching is about. I mean, if you also look at a soccer coach, he's not supposed to be the best soccer player in the world. You're the coach, not like you don't need to be the best. Maybe you were the best at some point, but even that is not a necessary condition for you to become a coach.
You just reminded me of something from our masters. Do you remember presentation pitching workshops when
Yeah.
Panos break he broke out to this guy, like what makes you qualified to teach us about how to pitch? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Who
Yeah.
was it who did that? Like to ask that question?
It was Panos. Panos said it to
Ah,
this
okay.
young guy who won some pitching competition. So now it reminded me of like putting Panos here and him saying like, what makes you teach us about CrossFit if you are not the strongest, not the best athlete? It's That's actually how it works. Very often what you said about football coaches. Loads of football coaches have never been great football players, but they are great coaches. Mourinho, for example,
Yeah.
Julian Nagelsmann of Bayern Munich, probably many others. But yeah, it reminded me of Panis undermining the authority of this guy. And actually, our masters, people who taught us about being entrepreneurs, who taught us about entrepreneurial methods, tactics, etc., most of these people were not entrepreneurs in their lives,
Yeah.
but still they were able to uh, deliver this value knowledge to us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a total different thing. Like being a world-class athlete means that you have the strength, that you keep on going, that you really like, yeah, you're just it's just a really different thing. And at the beginning, I thought it's so similar, but it's not. Like, especially for CrossFit, when you are a coach at CrossFit, you don't work out when you give a lesson, right? Like, never work out. I mean, some gyms have some courses where I say, like, the coach is dancing in front of them. I always make kind of jokes of this, because I think that, like, of course the motivation is important, but for me the most important thing is that I have a look at the technique, and not only look at it for the people to improve their technique, in the sense that I want them to be better, but for me the technique is also really important to not have like people that get hurt because their knees are like kissing each other, like, you know, there are like some normal mistakes that so many people do, and like also with more advanced movements it gets way more difficult to spot mistakes, and it's I'm still in the process of learning. I mean, I still learn a lot, because it's really, really difficult if you have a clean or a snatch to really spot flaws and help people to change. So
yeah, definitely. Like, even the coaches from my CrossFit gym, like, they are full-time coaches for few years already, and they still go to this trainings and stuff to increase, to accumulate more knowledge about certain techniques, to increase, to grow their expertise. But now I wanted to ask something more about your path, right? Which is very interesting to me, because like, to some extent I experienced it myself. So when I broke when I told my parents about my my decision to become full-time entrepreneur after graduating, you know, they were not happy. They were not supportive about my decision. And I'm not suggesting that your parents weren't, but was there someone in your like surrounding who was not supportive, and who said that they don't believe that you will make it as a CrossFit trainer?
that's also a good question, because I think that's what happens to most people. And as I really decided that I don't want to go into a corporate job, and want to pursue my passion and my dream, kind of, I thought that a lot of people wouldn't like it. Like, I was actually thinking so much, like, how to tell my parents, and like, I don't know, it was a difficult decision, and I already understood why they weren't happy, like why would, like, what they would tell me. I could feel like that they might have some right points, obviously, because I had a master, or I still have a master, and I could have simply went into a corporate job and got a bit of money to live from. And then I was like, well, I wanna start kind of all over and do something different. Even though I might decide to like combine both things at some point. I mean, I still can found a startup at some point if I have a good idea with like, within the sports sector, for example, you know, some supplements or whatever. No, but I mean, there are options. So I was super surprised when I realized that there were not so many people that didn't believe in me. I mean, actually, no one said that they don't believe in me. Most people were quite okay with my decision. My mom even kind of supported me, which was really interesting. And my father was kind of the only one who wasn't that happy, and he is still not super happy. Like, now he's fine with it. I mean, it's 1.5 years later now, and he saw that I'm like now at a point that I get enough money to live from. Like, But at the beginning, he was like, well, why don't you just go into a corporate job? Like, also, he didn't really understand what I loved about this sport. Like, he's not into sports in general.
Mm-hmm.
And he still believes that CrossFit is some kind of circle training.
Okay.
That's it. So, I mean, I tried to explain to him, but he wasn't that interested. We talk about other things and we are good. Like, we are not like in anger with each other, but like there's nothing in between us. But he was just like, why are you
doing this.
doing this? Like, also, he is not an entrepreneur, but like he started his own business and he said, like, it's so tough. Like, you have to work your ass off, and like, I don't understand why my kids don't want to go into a corporate job and simply get money.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But-
Okay.
That's a really interesting thing, actually, which
So-
is not typical for people that have their own business, I guess.
Yeah, so that's another thing that we have in common. Like, my dad wanted me to go into corporate jobs so bad. Like, even 2 months ago, you know, it's more than 2 years since I started my business, and even 2 months ago, he wished me to either for my business to take off or for me to find a good corporate job. So instead of wishing me just, yeah, I hope your business will take off and you will start earning great money, he said, I hope your business will take off or you will drop your business and you will find great corporate job. Yeah,
That's
but
great.
it is what it is, and I'm happy to hear that that we are in the same boat. We made unpopular decision to pursue our dreams instead of pursuing money, which I think in our generation is becoming more and more common thing, which is good. I think that people should look at themselves, at their own needs, instead of looking at what their parents want from them, what society is expecting from them. Like, it doesn't mean anything good to anyone. So yeah. Go on, Zayne.
We have one last question that we will need to ask Jana. But before I ask that, I'm curious. I've got one question to ask both of you. So maybe Dan, you can answer as well, and Jana. So when you hear that your parents don't, let's just say, don't support you, right? Like, okay, they just don't support you for whatever reason. Okay, whatever. Is there a part of you that just sort of go, I will prove you wrong, or I will turn that into some kind of motivation? Or how do you deal with that slight rejection when it comes from someone you care about?
Yeah. Daniel, do you want to go first? Should I go?
Go first. You are our guest, so.
Yeah, to be honest, like, I had some like thoughts about it myself. Like, I still have this kind of disbelief sometimes in myself that, like, it got less and less, and now it's getting way better. Like, because I'm on a good path now. Like, I finally make money and I finally make enough money to really live proper from it. But during that long period where I needed to study and learn all over again, I mean, not all, but a lot, like all the soft skills, some of them I had, some I needed to get. But the hard skills, like the facts about sports, about your body, about muscle types, how everything works whatsoever, I had quite some moments where I disbelieved in myself and were like, am I doing the right thing? Like, should I really do this? And then when my father came on top and said, like, why are you doing this? Then I luckily had my boyfriend who told me, like, you're doing this because.
Nice. Okay, you had someone who supported
Like,
you,
yeah,
basically.
he supported me so much. Like, he's totally happy with my decision, and like,
Very nice.
but I'm honestly, I'm not sure how I would have reacted if I wouldn't have had him. Like I'm super impressed if people pursue their dreams and like go all in and do it by themselves and just keep on going no matter what. Yeah. So
I love that answer.
yeah, I have a different story, I guess.
No, I think your answer is a good one. It's basically you have someone who, yes, it's hard that you don't have someone who supports you, but you just leverage the power from someone else to
Yeah,
keep going. So
that's it.
yeah,
And
and
also I think about it myself, right? Like
mm,
if I'm in a good mood, which is normally the case, um, then I'm happy, and and now I get a lot of feedback from my athletes also, and they're so happy that I train them. So that's always nice. But at the beginning, I didn't coach. I just learned, and I watched others coach. So yeah.
very nice. Dan, what about you?
So so for me, definitely, I translate this anger from their disbelief into like energy and power to move on, to act, to take action. uh you know what, I have this thought about the moment when I had the conversation with my dad about my decision to go full on entrepreneur once I graduate from my masters. And it was very tough and emotional conversation. It's because how my dad is actually. And um and honestly, it was one of the saddest moments in my life, but at the same time it was one of the best things that happened to me in my life, because at this point, uh, my dad stopped being um, stopped stopped being a role model for me. And it might sound strange or harsh or something, but the thing is that um, I understood with time that it's no good to have role models in your life, because when you have a role model, you try copy too much of these people that you have as role models, right? It's good to have inspirations. It's good to take like 10% of best qualities from someone that you follow, that you look up to. But it's no good to take one close to 100% of someone that you follow, that you look up to, because we are different people. We have different qualities. We have different traits of characters. And because of that, you are not able to, let's say, copy someone close to 100%. The best thing is to take 10% of the top qualities, of the top, I don't know, whatever these people have in them, and take it to yourself. Best 10% take from as many people as you find inspiring, as you find worth following. And I think that it will make you grow more than following one or two people close to 100%.
Very good. Very different approach. But that's
Yes.
why I asked that question. I know it
Yeah.
will be. I knew it would be different, and I want it to be different. Okay.
But I mean,
Okay.
also for this kind of conversation you prepare, right? I don't know about you, Daniel, but probably you thought about what your father might say, and at least
No,
that was my.
no, actually,
Okay.
it was spontaneous. It came up so random. Like, it came up from my conversation with my mother and my brother, when I told and I told my mother and my brother about my plan to go back to Poland, and to live in Gdańsk, where I live now. And he was like, why do you want to come to Gdańsk? Like, you have two degrees from foreign universities. Why don't you find a job abroad? Like, and what kind of job will you find in Gdańsk? And I said, I will continue doing my business. And he was like, how do you want to make a living out of your business, So yeah.
Okay.
You know, it is what it is, but what I said back then, I made it come true. I'm doing fine on my own. I don't since I moved in from my parents' house where I lived for some time because of coronavirus. It's over a year that I'm living away from my parents in Gdańsk, and I'm doing fine. So I'm not living under the bridge. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Last question for you, Jana.
Okay.
What would you say to people who has a dream that they're not sure about pursuing?
That's also a good one. Well, I would tell them that they should, like, if they really have a dream that they want to pursue, even though they're not, like, normally you don't know if you can, but you should focus on it, give it some time, definitely some time, and keep on focusing on it. And at some point, you will make it happen if you really want to make it happen.
Nice and sweet.
Yeah,
Nice and sweet.
I guess that's. I mean, yeah, you need to change. You need to. I mean, your lifestyle probably needs to change. Like, a lot of big things need big changes, but those changes need time and little steps to get there. And it could be a long path, but like, not, I mean, it's like the typical quote, right? If you wanted to make it happen, then it will happen. But like, I do believe that even your personality can change if you really want it to change, like, at least a bit. Probably you can't go from one extreme to the other, or maybe you can with like quite some years, but yeah, you still need to stay authentic. So, but you can, if you take, like, you give it time, and you can make it happen, I guess.
Very nice. Very nice. I enjoyed this conversation. It was
Yeah,
really
me
good.
too. Thank you for the invite.
No problem.
Yeah,
We will.
I'm really glad that you accepted it, and I believe that tonight you delivered great value to us and to our viewers, and of course there is not like hundreds of thousands of people when it comes to our viewers, but I believe that probably at least one people will take something from at least
That
one
would be,
person will take something from tonight's episode, and I believe you made the change to someone's life tonight.
that would be nice.
You definitely have. You definitely have. Cool. Thank you so much, Jana. And for people who are watching or listening, if you enjoyed, give us a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the show. And follow us on Instagram down there, just below where Jana is, down there. If you're watching, yep. And then follow us, and then let us know how we're doing. And then all we want to do is just to give you more value moving forward. Cool. Any last words, Dan? I think.
For me, no. I guess maybe just read the title of this episode. Ignore the noise, and pursue your passion, your dream, your whatever it is in your life. Pursue it. Don't think about what others say or think of your decision.
Yeah, you do you, and we do E, and we are gonna log off now. Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy, everyone. See you.
Bye.
Goodbye.